News.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the Citi Prime News. We're coming to you live from our studios at number 11, Dr. Martin Loop in Adabraka, Accra. My name is Adjuatin Kramat Domina. Coming up, Supreme Court throws out case challenging the prohibition of celebrity endorsement of alcoholic brands.
We know what alcohol can do to health, and it is our prayer that all of us will agree to protect this large population that we have against the dangers of alcohol.
Also, private laboratory facilities cash in as patients pay extra for lab services following strike by Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union.
We have submitted.
Still in the bulletin, trial of former Kokobo CEO Stephen Opuni continues as Supreme Court unanimously dismisses appeal for fresh trial following retirement of trial judge. And later, Energy Minister Matthew Pokuprempa appears in Parliament today over recent power outages experienced in parts of the country. Stay with us for details of these and more stories coming your way in the next 30 minutes. Remember, the bulletin is live around the globe on citinewsroom.com, on YouTube and on Facebook. You can find us on Citi 97.3 FM. Across the country, we are live on a number of affiliates. If you are listening to us from the Western region, this is Adrimpa 100.7 FM in Takwa Beach, 105.5 FM in Takrade. If you are in the Bono region, this is Green at 95.9 FM in Sunyai, Ashanti region, Adrimpa 99.9 FM in Inkarie. In the Volta region, Heritage 107.3 FM, Freedom 88.1 FM. In the Northern region, Radio Gaki 88.3 FM in Saboba. In the Upper East, Quality 88.7 FM in Garu. And in the Northeast, Nobia FM 98.1 in Nararugu. Stay for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Grateful for your time this afternoon. Let's begin from the court. And the Supreme Court has dismissed a suit seeking to declare as unconstitutional a guideline from the Food and Drugs Authority, the FDA, prohibiting celebrities from advertising for alcoholic brands. Now, the FDA in 2016 instituted guidelines for the advertisement of foods and beverages, where the authority noted that no well-known personality or professional shall be used in alcoholic beverage advertisement. But the plaintiff in the case, Magdalene Osei, filed a suit at the Apex Court, praying the court to injunct the FDA by interpreting Articles 17.1 and 17.2 of the 1992 Constitution to mean that the directive is discriminatory. However, in a majority 5-2 decision today, the Supreme Court, presided by Chief Justice Gertrude Tokono, upheld the constitutionality of this directive. Meanwhile, the president of the Ghana Music Alliance, Ni Ofoliate, who represented the plaintiff, expressing disappointment about this decision, noted that further engagement will be held with the FDA on the matter.
Don't agree with the outcome, but we have to take it as it is. There's nothing else we can do about it.
Does this end the advocacy to have celebrities to be able to advertise for alcoholic brands?
No, we definitely would still go on, probably find different ways to go about it. But at the end of the day, we still see some type of work that musicians do with the brands, which is the alcoholic companies. So hopefully there are ways around it. We really wanted a dialogue with the FDA as to what we can do, what we can't do, because the first time we talked to them, I think it came up as, let's say, a famous musician, let's say Sarkodie or Stonebwoy, anybody, is after years of doing music, they want to start their own, let's say, the beer company. They can't do that. You know, there's things that we don't really know the limitations properly. So this is more or less not even to win or lose. It was more or less to have clear indications or what a clear picture is as to what musicians can do and cannot do when it comes to working with brands.
You have the president of the Ghana Music Alliance, Ni Ofoliate. Well, the Director of Legal and Corporate Affairs at the Food and Drugs Authority, Joseph Benny, however, debunked claims that the directive is affecting the income stream of celebrities as they have options available to them.
Every year we have nothing against anybody, nothing against any celebrity, nothing against any well-known personality. That is how it is couched there. It is just in the interest of public health and safety. We have a large population of youth who look up to these celebrities or well-known personalities. They follow whatever they do. They imitate what they do. We know what alcohol can do to health. And it is our prayer that all of us will agree to protect this large population that we have against the dangers of alcohol. We have nothing against it. We can partner them to do the education on alcoholism. Our point is endorsing alcohol. Yes, the youth are already drinking it. So what do? Do we allow them to do that? Do we still encourage them? No, we shouldn't. So the celebrities, the well-known personalities should rather partner heavily to ensure that we take them off the alcohol. So we do not endorse it rather, but we use their medium to educate the youth, encourage the youth that they can do some other things instead of depending on alcohol.
You had the Director of Legal and Corporate Affairs at the Food and Drugs Authority, Joseph Benny. Let's stay on this issue because the Ghana Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance says the Supreme Court ruling upholding the Food and Drugs Authority's decision to prohibit celebrities from advertising alcoholic products is a win for public health. Speaking to Citi News, National Coordinator of the Alliance, Labram Musa, says this will set a precedence for the advocacy against celebrity endorsement of alcoholic brands.
We are thankful to God Almighty and the apex court of the land for ruling in favor of public health over the interests of a few individuals, a few celebrities and well-known personalities who obviously, from the look of things, look at their interests and not the interests of public health or the interests of young people and children who are, the many reasons why the Food and Drugs Authority came out with this guideline. And indeed, I must say that this verdict is novel, and indeed, this was mentioned by one of the judges, and I want to agree because we have not seen such a case in Ghana as far as I'm concerned. So we are happy that it has gone in our favor, and of course, we know that this is going to be a precedent, and obviously going to be cited by many judgments. Beyond the country.
You heard Labran Musa. He is the national coordinator for the Ghana NCD Alliance. Now, the Supreme Court has, by a unanimous decision, affirmed the Court of Appeal decision not to start the criminal trial of the former Cocoa Board boss, Stephen Opuni, from scratch. Justice Kwesi Anochijima, who was assigned to the case after Justice Honyanuga retired, ruled for the case to start from scratch. In his view, the records had been tainted due to the allegations of unfairness against Justice Honyanuga. The Attorney General, however, appealed this decision at the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal reversed the decision of Justice Jima and asked that the case should continue from where Justice Honyanuga left it off. Now, lawyers of Stephen Opuni, however, filed an appeal at the Supreme Court challenging this decision. And the Apex Court, presided over by Chief Justice Gertrude Arabesa Batokono, in a unanimous decision today, dismissed that appeal, reaffirming the decision of the Court of Appeal. The case is thus expected to continue at the High Court, where the second accused, Seydou Agungo, is opening his defense, and the fifth witness is also testifying. Now, the Ghana Electrical Contractors Association is advocating for a framework to effectively regulate the electricity company of Ghana's policy on the supply of substations, particularly for commercial usage. The group laments the high cost of acquiring the facility, citing the payment of 10% each for capital contribution and contingency of the original installation cost. Speaking to Citi News, President of the association, Mohammed Awal, emphasized the need for an urgent intervention to alleviate the existing economic plight of electricity consumers.
They don't allow people to buy materials from dealers of their choice. ECG has now become a electrical dealer. They buy materials and stock it so that when somebody needs transformer services, they will rather sell the materials to you. There are people who have invested in that business already. People have stock. Electrical industry is a mega dollar trade or industry. So people have invested in this area, and now you have banned people from buying materials from the open market. But yet your prices are so high that people cannot afford. And so people are really struggling. People set up those premises, and they get to the point where they need service application. They are hit with a very high cost of electricity service connection. And then most of them do not have option but just to abandon the project. So we are saying that it is high time as a nation we have a deliberate policy that is regulating how much ECG and whoever and whichever distribution utility should charge when it comes to persons applying for dedicated substations.
Awal Mohammed is president of the Ghana Electrical Contractors Association. Away from that, the Mental Health Authority says it is awaiting the probe by the Ghana Health Service into the death of a woman who was said to be mentally challenged at Komwa Ojobi in the central region. The woman was allegedly abandoned after treatment at the specialist trauma hospital at Winneba. The authority says such incidents draw attention to the flaws in Ghana's mental health management system, as well as stigmatization and the general lack of concern for persons with mental health conditions. Head of Communications at the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Dansua Nyama, has been speaking to Citi News.
With regards to the Ojobi incident, is currently, considering the facility that was involved, is currently under the jurisdiction of the Ghana Health Service. And as such, the authority respects that and is giving room for the Ghana Health Service to then go through its own processes internally to arrive at the report, and that's what we are waiting for. However, based on the outcomes of that, we would want to then step it up and then look into the aspects that are outside of the facilities realm, so then the community aspects amongst others, but then it will all have to be based on the outcomes of the initial investigation data, and that's how come we are not necessarily, we don't want to run parallel interventions, resources to be used to duplicate same activities, and so we want to wait on them.
You have the head of communications at the Mental Health Authority, Dr. Dansua Nyama. Well, the Graduate Students Association of Ghana, GRASAG, is reiterating calls for the government to complete the payment of research support grants to all members. The association recently held a press conference to address the issue of non-payment of these arrears over 2 years, which has severely affected the academic work, they say. Speaking to Citi News, the president of the University of Ghana chapter of GRASAG, Claudius Angsona, emphasized that it will be unfair if not all graduates receive the payments due them.
I think about 2 weeks after or 3 weeks, the government started disbursement. So I think a good number received their bursary as we speak, but others are yet to be paid. Even including me myself, I'm yet to be paid. I don't know. All the public universities, they have paid a good number of. The first batch of students, all of them were paid, except those who were having some challenges with their bank account or some details. So National Gas, we are now rectifying it, and later maybe they will resend or submit their correct information then for the payment to. For all those who are not having challenges with their bank accounts, they were all paid. But there are a few people who were not having challenges, and they I don't know what happened, and they haven't been paid yet, including myself.
That was the president of the University of Ghana chapter of GRASAG, Claudius Angsona. Now, the associate professor of finance at Andrews University in the United States of America, Professor Williams Citi Prime, says the Ghana Beyond Aid agenda was only a political statement. On Tuesday, a member of the UK House of Lords, Lord Paul Boateng, lamented the inability of Ghana's leaders to wean the country off aid dependence, bringing into question President Akufo-Addo's ambitious Ghana Beyond Aid agenda. While speaking to Citi News, Professor Williams Citi Prime noted that the country's debt levels make the agenda impossible to achieve.
Ghana Beyond Aid agenda by government over the past 7 years has not been achieved. This was an agenda that government wanted to pursue self-sufficiency and self-reliance. However, where the country Ghana finds itself now has become a major challenge. Ghana is in debt, and Ghana's survival, as we have all noticed, and for us to be disciplined depends on grants or monies or loans coming from IMF and other foreign partners. This initiative would have worked well if we were out of debt, and then if our governance system was in a better shape, and then our managers of the economy were more efficient. But we noticed that this has not been the case. So from my perspective, it was a political statement, and anyway, the government tried to pursue that agenda, but it has not worked.
Well, he further called for a restructuring of the Ghana Beyond Aid Charter to clearly define what qualifies as aid and financial support.
aid is not only monetary terms. We also receive some aid in terms of health facilities and support on medications. If you look at the policy very carefully, it did not talk about whether such aid is also not needed by Ghana. So we may have to find a proper way to structure the Ghana Beyond Aid. Is the aid in terms of finance or monetary terms or other donated items like the medical items and equipment that we're talking about? Further, industries in Ghana are not well developed in such a way that we'll be able to produce and meet the needs of Ghanaians. So this is going to be very, very difficult. The world is interrelated and we all live on each other's. Even the American requires on us to get some aid. So going beyond aid is an agenda, but it's very difficult to achieve it.
Professor Williams Citi Prime, an associate finance professor at Andrews University in the USA. This is the Citi Prime News. When we return, private laboratory facilities cash in as patients pay extra for lab services following strike by Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union. Please stay with us for details.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
Channel 1 TV is live on DSTV, GoTV, and HD+. On DSTV, find us on Channel 363. On GoTV, we're on Channel 117. And on HD+, get us on Channel 108. On a digital TV, run a new search. But take note that without an antenna, you cannot access Channel 1 TV. Channel 1 TV can be accessed on any free-to-air digital box, like the DSTV and HD+ boxes. Channel 1 TV. Telling your story, empowering change.
Citi Prime News at 12 midday. Update you on all the running stories and connect you to the newsmakers.
You're welcome back. Now, private laboratory facilities in the Ashanti region are cashing in as the strike by the Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union enters its third day. The situation is putting a strain on major public health facilities in the Ashanti region, with medical laboratories at facilities like Meshia and the Tafo government hospitals remaining shut. Some patients who spoke with Citi News raised concerns about the extra cost the strike is imposing on them in their quest to access healthcare.
Today I came to Meshia District Hospital. I was sick in the school and they asked me to come to the hospital. When I came, they said their lab is on strike, so I should come to the private hospital. When I went there, they are collecting 350 cedis before they will do the lab for me. And my dad is not in Kumasi. And they said when he done send it, he won't do the lab for me.
In fact,
the monies I'm being charged at the private laboratory is exorbitant. I went back to tell the doctor I can't afford it. Not everyone can afford the monies being charged. Some of us depend on others for survival, and the situation we find ourselves in is very worrying. What's the essence of paying for these huge sums of money and not being able to buy medication? The government should prioritize Ghanaians.
You heard some patients speaking to Citi News about the extra costs incurred following the strike by Medical Laboratory Professional Workers Union. The Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh, has reiterated that the recent power outages experienced in parts of the country were not as a result of load shedding by the Electricity Company of Ghana. For months, parts of the country have witnessed intermittent power outages, with businesses and households bearing the brunt. Now, answering questions on the floor of Parliament today, Dr. Matthew Opoku-Prempeh highlighted some reasons for the erratic power supply.
No, ECG is not undertaking load shedding as at the time the question was asked. So, Speaker, consumers were experiencing outages due to a number of factors. That included localized outages due to overload on lines and transformers. So, Speaker, there are certain areas in this country that all of a sudden the number of people resident or the businesses that have accumulated, especially I can give an example of parts of East Lagos, which was a purely residential area, now has become one of the major business districts, increasing power consumption, thereby hampering the existing lines there. So the transformers and the lines have to be outdated.
That was the Minister of Energy, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Now, away from that, the persons who were reported missing in the Oti River in Dambai after a canoe they were traveling in capsized last Tuesday are yet to be found. The boat, which carried 11 persons from Dambai, was heading towards Injari in the Karachi East municipality of the Oti region when the incident occurred. 8 persons have since been rescued. The assembly member for the Dambai Central Electoral Area, Charles Aruanyi, said efforts are still ongoing to find the missing persons. Now, the police in Wa, in the Upper West Regional Capital, are on a manhunt for the killers of the 2 private security men in the town. The 2 men were gruesomely murdered in separate attacks at their duty post by unknown assailants, creating fear among the inhabitants of the Wa township. There's more in the following report by my colleague Latif Mahama.
Residents of Kunta, a section of Wa, woke up to the gruesome killing of Na Beguzie Kobna, who was providing security at the Wa East District Office of the Ghana Education Service. The 62-year-old was found dead in a pool of blood with a deep cut on his throat, believed to have been inflicted on him by his assailants. Like wildfire, news about the killing spread through the Wa township, attracting hundreds of the inhabitants. The children and family members of the late Kobna could not hold themselves as his lifeless body was being conveyed by personnel of the Ghana Police Service to the morgue. After preliminary investigations, the assembly member for the Kunta electoral area condemned the killing and called for swift investigations to unravel the circumstances surrounding the killing and to apprehend the perpetrators.
You can see around, the community members are all here. Everybody in the community is very sad because this man is not just anybody in the community there. He is one of our leaders that helps, that is willing to help us, and when he has the need, there is a need in the community. He has helped in various ways. There was even a time he helped in managing the public toilet that we have in Kwanta. So honestly, Kwanta have lost an elder, and it's very sad for the people of Kwanta. I will plead that the policemen, they should deploy more security services to my electoral area. Was recording years back with this incident that happened. There was one at Star Standard and some other areas that was within the electoral area, but by then I was not the assembled man for that. But what I want the security people to do is they should ensure that, because previously there was a security post within my electoral area, I want them to ensure that we get a security post, and with most of the offices to where securities are needed, they post them to those vantage areas so that it will help to reduce some of this.
I think this news broke out this morning at around, I heard it around 6, in between 6 and 6:20. That there was a case at this What East municipalities. So we all rush here and then to see what we are all seeing. I think that is what I can say for now.
As the residents struggle to come to terms with what may have led to the ungodly act that took the life of the 62-year-old, news broke that another private security man manning the One Model Junior High School was also killed.
Those were excerpts of a report filed by my colleague Latif Mahama. Now, away from that, it is a daunting task for passengers to board commercial vehicles locally known as trotro in the city of Accra during peak hours. According to passengers, the worsening transportation situation is making life unbearable for them. They say the government must address the failing transport system in the capital. City News' Philip Nilati reports.
Walking long distances and standing at bus stops for hours to board a commercial vehicle seems to be the norm for the ordinary Ghanaian who seeks to get to work early and return safely after a long day's work in some parts of the Greater Accra region. The disorganized transportation system in Ghana appears to have worsened. Passengers are compelled to wake up early to secure their spot in the few available churches in the morning to beat the gridlock and to get to work on time. The cycle repeats after work. Individuals heading to Kaswa, Ofanko, Pokwase, Ablekuma, Amasaman, Insawam and other areas in the region find it very difficult to get transportation to work and back to their homes. Some traders at the Central Business District of Accra are compelled to walk from Accra to Roxy, Total, and Kwame Nkrumah Circle in search of a commercial vehicle to go home after work.
We are from Kantamanto heading to Roxy to catch a public vehicle because we couldn't find any there. Some drivers charge as high as 20 cedis from Kantamanto to Ofanko barrier, but from Roxy it's 10 cedis.
But those who from Pokwasi and the Amasamai, they are finding it difficult to get car. Always, every evening, they have to walk from the Rollins Park through to the Kingsway, right down here, before they can get a car. And there's no car. And I think the vehicle, government have to, get something to do about it for them. Those Ayalolo, they have to be enough buses, transport, to transport the people back home every evening. Because it's very hectic. Sometimes when it rains, when you see people here, my brother, you cry for them.
The struggle worsens at Kwame Nkrumah Circle, Mr. Biggs, and Graphic Road bus stops, among others, as passengers fight their way into public vehicles. Some disgruntled passengers bemoaned the situation.
The construction of the Amasaman to Nsawam Road also adds to the traffic, worsening our situation. People even walk from Accra to catch a public vehicle here because the train system isn't functioning.
Governments have tried to fix the country's transportation issues, but the problem keeps worsening. Urban development specialist Dr. Bernard Abeku Arthur says the country has a failed public transport system.
We have a failed public transport system. Failed in the sense that anytime you see taxis, trotros, two-wheelers and three-wheelers running public transport, there is a failure.
He contends that there must be political will to fix the transport problem in Greater Accra.
Truth is, our public transport is mainly by road now, but under normal circumstances, we should have water transport and fix this. I think we can fix it. There are people who know how to fix it. The policies are there, the laws are there. It has to do with political will that we are going to get our cities rid of unregulated public transport arrangements.
You heard an urban development specialist, Dr. Bernard Abeku Arthur, ending that report filed by City News' Philip Nilati. Now related to that, the Ghana West Municipal Assembly is cautioning truck drivers to stop using the deplorable Kojo Ashon Bridge to avert any casualties. According to the MCE, Clement Wilkinson, repair works on the bridge will soon commence. This follows several complaints by residents and motorists about the Kojo Ashon Bridge, which compelled the Roads and Highways Minister Francis Asenso-Boakye to inspect the site. Speaking to City News, Mr. Wilkinson urged truck drivers to avoid using the bridge.
It's totally collapsing. A contractor is coming to work on that bridge. In the next 40 days or 30 days, if you are not careful, because the whole thing is going down. So we had a promise, all right, and I know they will work on it. Now we are stopping them. Yes, we have some people around that, and they themselves, they have to be careful because the tipper trucks, the huge trucks, if you go through and something happens, we have stopped them that they should not. We normally do we put some bars at the top, but in the night they remove it because they want to go through the bridge. But now they themselves have seen that the bridge is collapsing.
That was the Ghana West Municipal Chief Executive Clement Wilkinson ending today's Citi Prime News, which has been live from our studio in Accra. For more stories, please log on to citynewsroom.com. My name is Ajua Tinkrama Tomna. Thank you for your company. Good afternoon.
City News. We speak first. Reach our hotline on 0302-224959 and get interactive on Facebook, City 97.3 FM, and on Twitter at City 973.